All right, hey folks. I'm going to check my volume here real quick. There's a new Artificer Unearthed Arcana out for Dungeons & Dragons 2024. I expected to be doing Spelljammer stuff today, but awesome. I'm really excited about having new Artificer content to make sure that the spell point variant rules that we were creating stay in curve with 2024. This is happening a lot sooner than I anticipated. I'm excited. So let me take a moment here to make sure my signal's coming through clearly. I'm going to do some quick social media posting, and then we'll get to work for an hour or so. So mic check, and then we'll get to work. Yeah, that's plenty loud. Good job there. Kearney, you can probably afford to bring the volume down a bit on your microphone there, Chief, now that you've figured out how to make microphones work. If this is still good volume for anyone that's out there in Chatland, just let me know, and I can adjust accordingly, apparently. So just give me another few moments here while I do the social media postings. And if you're new to the stream, proud to have you. Thanks a lot. My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition since 2017. Jeez, McCrow. When the Ravnica, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica setting came out, it was the first instance of Wizards publishing something officially for Magic the Gathering using Dungeons & Dragons, but there wasn't any kind of a color mana language associated with it. So we created spell point variant rules using the color mana system. It worked great. That got me really interested in action economy and resource use in D&D, which is spilled out from the spell point variant rule systems into ability check casting, into the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book, now into the Martial Power system and the Bastion campaigns that we've been developing here on stream. I stream 10 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning. I do artwork for whatever the next book is that's going to publish. And at lunchtime on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays-ish, I stream game design. Today we'll be doing Artificer on Thursday night and Sunday brunch. I also do game design or commissions, artwork, stuff like that. So stick around if you think this stuff is cool. Thanks a lot. I'm glad you do. All the stuff that we're working on is going to be available for you guys to look at online. Here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we are live in the future. Let's see, full playlist, Discord, let's see, content, where is it? Here we are, the Color Mana and Martial Powers playtest document is, if you click through here on Patreon, you don't have to be a Patreon member, but it'll take you to the Martial Powers playtest document. For you, it's going to be a read-only document, look, don't touch, but it is literally the same document that I am working on right now. So let me get this out of the way and show you the proof in the pudding up here at the top of the page. Boop, Martial Powers playtest document. You see the same right there. So you are most welcome to read along by clicking through my Patreon into this read-only document. If you want to support me while I do it, God bless you. Here's the playtest document that we have for the Unearthed Arcana 2024. This is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, when we are officially launching. And let's go down to, actually, let's extract this document, this instance of the document, and let's prioritize this tab here. And we're going to drop down. So we have the Martial Power system, which isn't really relevant to the conversation at the moment, but it's a mana-based system that grants martial characters the same breadth of options and resource management that full casters have. So if you feel that there's a disparage between martials and casters, this goes a long way to resolving that disparage. But after we get through all of the updates and mechanical changes in 2024 for martial characters using spell point resources, we get to the end of all of that, and we find where we have been rebuilding the Artificer. Again, this document is available to you after the Warlock is the Artificer. This is down on page 65 of, goddamn, we're up to 150 pages already. Wow. Okay, great. This is going to be an awesome book when it's done. Okay, the Artificer, we have our scaffold here. We have new languages that are being created. So let's start picking our way through just the scaffold of the base class, see how it translates into the mana system that we currently have going, and we'll make updates along the way and see what happens. So obviously, there's a big difference between spell points and spell slots. Spell points have a lot more flexibility to them than what a strict spell slot is. But essentially, using the system for mana, a first level spell requires 1 point. A fifth level spell would require 5 points. A ninth level spell would require 9 points. Artificers are half casters, so they'll have the casting progression of. Let me see if I can. Let's actually push this down to be on its own page. There. That should span the full. Yep, there we go. So we have half casting. So first at first, second at fifth, third at ninth, fourth at. It should be 13th max level. 13th level, and then fifth level is fifth level spells is at 17th level character. We have our ASIs in place. I know that we're making a number of changes to the preps. Well, let's just start working through the prep, see what changes they have here. Base 15, and we have our spellcasting base 15 as well. Cantrips, let's see if we're scaling cantrips properly. So we have 2, and then we have 3 at 10th. Check out. And then we have 4 at 14th. That checks out. Okay, cool. So that works. And the prepared spells are good. We have magic items in plans known now. So we don't have infusions. I know that we don't have infusions anymore. So let's update this to plans instead of infusions. And infused items are now magic items. Cool, let's go through our scaffold here. Magical tinkering, spell casting, replicate, magic item, Artificer subclass, right tools for the job, ASI, subclass feature, magic item tinker. Is that at 10? No, wait, 6. Item tinker. Hey, Steve, how you doing? We're working on the new Artificer today. Just came out in Unearthed Arcana. Flash of Genius in place. Level 8. So we're rebuilding the scaffold to make sure everything's still compliant with, because we know that the UA is like 85% done, or they'll just throw it away completely. If they decide to throw it away completely, because if they don't get enough people liking it, they don't try again, they just give up. Because that's, I guess, the resources that WotC has available. So I don't think they're going to give up on this one, though. So the UA is probably about 85, maybe even 95% of what they're already decided to do. UAs is not playtest content because we know that WotC doesn't necessarily pay attention to the feedback other than we'll buy it or we won't buy it is basically where it breaks. So UA is marketing content. It is not playtest document. They take your feedback, but they basically dump it into a bucket of, I will buy this, I will not buy this. And so if there's enough people that say they'll buy it, they'll move forward with it. Like Strixclassing, when they had like one subclass for all classes in Strixhaven, there was pushback about how it didn't mesh perfectly with Bard, and there was some flavor mismatches. So instead of them going through a second iteration, they threw it away because it was marketing material. It wasn't actually interested in playtesting. They were just seeing, should we devote pages to this or not? I personally suspect, and this is me wearing my tinfoil hat, so take it with a grain of salt. I personally don't think this is related to a specific book. I think it's going to be microtransactional content on the on D&D Beyond that you'll be able to purchase for, I suspect, $7. I could be wrong. We've seen MCDM's ill-written class be offered for $15. So it wouldn't surprise me if WotC were to do the same thing for like half the cost, because they don't have to split the profits between MC and themselves or anyone else. They can just keep it all in-house. So, but if there was a book that's coming along with it, I'd be pretty surprised that they were kicking one out, because they haven't announced any books, and they're pretty big about announcing books that they built for themselves. So I think this is going to be like the Eldrazi monster manual. It was 25 Magic the Gathering themed monsters that they had published as a separate piece of download. It was like $5. There's 25 monsters. I spent maybe 6 episodes looking at all of them from a Magic the Gathering perspective. So you can check that out in the playlist if you're interested. But that's an example of a microtransaction that has impact in the game that isn't related to anything and never was intended to. There is no Eldrazi book, but they took the theme of Eldrazi and made a monster manual out of it. So there you go. So that's my thought processes there. So 10 magic item adept. And 11. I suspect this is going to take more than one session for us to process all the information here. And that's okay, because this week I streamed Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I suspect by the time we get done with Friday, we'll have all these subclasses finished. Magic Item Savant, subclass features, ASI, Skip a Line, Magic Item Master, Epic Boon, and Soul of Artifice. Okay, cool, we have those. We know a lot of these features are going to change, so let's, I guess let's just dive in. So Artificer class features. If a feature is not used with martial powers, it's been removed from the feature list above. If a feature has been modified or is new, it's described below. There you go. So if a feature is not used, with spell points, we're going to modify that, because we're going to be building, although we're inserting Artificer options into the martial powers system, we're going to publish the spell point Artificers as a separate product to go along with all the other mana options that we have. And if you want to look at the full playlist, all the full selection of spell stuff that I've done, you can go to spell point variant rules here on the DMsGuild. All of these books have free previews, so you can click on any of them and view them for free. But we did Spell Point Warlocks, which is a gold bestseller at this point. Thanks everyone for the support. Pay what you want for gold medal. It's pretty damn good. But you can see here when I click into it, it provides a breakdown of how spell points would work for a sorcerer, Pact Magic as short rest mana, and then the Mystic Arcanum as long rest mana. So you combine the two of them together to have a pretty abundant pool of mana for your character to sling around. So we'll build the Spell Point Artificer in a similar format of this, breaking down the different things that they can do with their class. So stay tuned for that, but let me get this out of the way for now. And again, you can check out all those books here in the Color Mana Spell Point variant rules on DMsGuild. Let's see, Artificer. So when we go through, get that out of the way. When we go through all these features, if I don't have any need to change anything about it to work with spell points, we don't have to describe it down here. If spell points are going to change how the thing functions, or we have to replace something with a new feature to keep the vibe but make it mechanically work with spell points, we will detail what those changes or new features are in the list down below. And then we'll be playing around with the subclasses to mess around with all the mechanics there. And I suspect that's probably where we're going to be spending the bulk of our time. But thankfully, there's only 4 subclasses. So with any luck, we'll be able to get through the core scaffold today. And then between tomorrow and Friday, get the four subclasses revolved and move along. So Thursday night, we're going to be working on the Bastion campaign system, where we're converting the Bastion system into a resource management with ability checks to have risk and rewards, and broaden the capabilities of what you can do with Bastions inside your campaign, including building a campaign around Bastion tasks as the primary drive for creating like adventures, like adventure hooks being created as a result of actions you try to take through your bastion that are challenged. That's a really fun format. I've been running that as a campaign, as a playtest at my home table since February. So check it out. It's I'll be doing that on Thursday night, and I'll also be working on Bastion system Saturday morning as well, and we'll be doing Eberron book art Monday through Friday in the mornings as well. So if any of this stuff is interesting, like, subscribe, bell, blah. So let's see. Let's go along with, yeah, I guess let's just start at the beginning. We'll click on over to here. Let's dive in. Magical tinkering. So as a magic action while building Tinker's tools, you can, as a magic action while holding Tinker tools, you can create one item in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of yourself, choosing the item from the following list. I'm wondering, we don't have weapons listed, so they're tools. So magic action, you can create one item in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of your self, choosing the item from the following list. So this creates my first topic of interest is there a gold cap that we're seeing with that list of items? So let's go into sources and player's handbook. This alone could take a little bit of time. So let's go to the player's handbook 2024. Let's go to the equipment list, because if there is just a hard cap, like if it's a 5 gold cap or less that you can create, then we can just simplify the language to take any piece of equipment that you can see that's X gold or less, and you can create that item. So we can simplify the list that way, but we have to see if it's true or not. So equipment is there. I'm going to pull this out into its own tab. Choosing an item from the following list. Take a tool, you can create one item. So let's see, is the item skipping past weapons, skipping past armor, ammunition, skipping past masteries, armor, shields, tool proficiency, artisan tools, skip past artisan tools, and then we go into, thank you, Timely Timer. Is it just are we just looking at adventuring gear? Let's see. We can copy. Let's kick through this list real quick here. Hold on. Bedroll, bell, blanket. At least they're all alphabetical. Block and tackle is so fun. Bucket, caltrops. Block and tackle, by the way, makes like lifting portcullis and gates and stuff like that super easy. I've had playtest teams specifically purchase block and tackle so they can break through doorways and barricades. I've never ever since that playtest, I've been a real believer in block and tackle. I'd never seen it used prior to the Eberron playtesting that we had done. It was actually really delightful to see that. Doesn't matter how long you've been gaming, you can always gain new abilities as a player and a DM. You never stop growing, and you never stop finding ways to tweak the system or clever ways to make use of it. See the rules for the item in the player's handbook. The item vanishes after 1 hour. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Okay. Again, we're looking to set price points, and let's scroll down to here to see if we can just simplify and expand upon what it is we got going here. Okay, great. Starting with ball bearings. That's 1 gold. I'm going to create some space here real quick. Oops. GP. Item. Basket. 0.4. I'll just put down for X for as in less than a gold piece. Bedroll. 1. Bell. 1. Blanket. X. Block and tackle. 1. I'm sensing a theme. Bucket. X. Caltrops. 1. You seen that theme yet? It seemed to have a trend here of capping at 1 gold piece, but we'll see if something breaks that rule or not. Clip, 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 clip. Crowbar. It's 2 gold pieces. We've already broken that rule. Flask is X. Let's double check that crowbar real quick. Make sure my blindness didn't break something. Nope, gold piece indeed. Flask. They don't allow a grappling hook because a grappling hook is, that's 2 gold pieces as well. So I don't see a reason why you wouldn't allow a grappling hook. Healer's kit, 5 gold pieces. Costs too much. Jug. It's 2 copper. Lamp is less than a gold. Net. 1 gold. Oil. X per flask. Paper is X per sheet. Parchment is X per sheet. X being less than a gold. Pull. A pull is X less than a gold. Pouch. Pouch is less than a gold. Rope. 1 gold. Sack. 1 copper. Shovel. Great Earth Digger. 2 gold. String. There was a, God, I can't remember the band, but back in the day, there was this just little indie band in Missouri, and they had a song called "Shovel, Great Earth Digger." That was the chorus. Shovel, Great Earth Digger. Something about burying your dead wife or something like that. I don't remember the specific details. It's just Shovel, Great Earth Digger stuck with me. Okay, great. So we've gone through the entire list, and we see that the cap on gold piece expenditure equals 2 gold pieces, which we have here demonstrated by the crowbar and the shovel. Everything else is 1 or less. So is there anything that's 2 gold pieces that is not on the list? Tent is not on the list because tent is, well, wait a second. In comparison to a lamp, these are all handheld items, while a tent is 20 pounds. Maybe let's look at that. That's the next factor. We're going to go with weight. I didn't take that into account. So this might not be must-see TV, but this is the process of deconstructing game design. So if we can crack the code on what their limitations were, we don't have to refer to their list. We can just say, hey, if you have an item in your game that weighs less than a pound and costs less than 2 or less gold pieces, you can fabricate it with this ability to simplify the text. So let's see what the weights of stuffs are to see if we have another obvious mechanical limit that's being put in place. Like acid is 25 gold. You can't make that. Can't make alchemical fire. That's 50 gold. It's too much. Antitoxin, too expensive. Ammunition doesn't have a set price, so you can't necessarily make that either. Backpack, it's 2 gold pieces, so it should technically be within scale, but it's off the list. So that means that there's some sort of a limitation that ball bearings are producing that backpacks don't. So ball bearing coming in heavy at 2 pounds. Let's see if that trend remains or not. A basket coming in at, basket coming in at 3 pounds. If it's less than a pound, we'll put an X. Bedroll. Bedroll coming in at 7 pounds. A bell has no weight. Blanket coming in at 3 pounds. Okay, so we don't have so a tent is basically a blanket with extra steps, but it's no less complicated than a lamp. So I don't see a violation there. Block and tackle, very complicated machine. 5 pounds. Bucket, 2 pounds. Caltrops, 2 pounds. Candle, X weight. Crowbar, 10 pounds. Ooh, that's a chain. Crowbar, 5 pounds. We're still looking at 7 pounds with the bedroll. So that's our. Is that? Remind me. Was that true? Did I dream that? Was that real? Yep, 7 pounds. Flask. So it looks like we're looking at a 10 pound and 2 gold piece limit so far. Flask. 1 pound flask. Jug. 4 pound jug. Lamp. 1 pound lamp. Net. 3 pound lamp. Oil. We can create oil? Jeez, McCrack. Okay. Paper. Nominal. Parchment. Nominal. Pull. 7 pound pull. Okay. Pouch. 1 pound pouch. Rope. 4 pound rope. Sack. X less than a pound. Shovel. Great earth digger. 5 pounds. String. X nominal weight. Tinder box. 1 pound torch. 1 pound torch and vial. Nominal weight. Okay, so the matrix that we have here is that it's anything that weighs 7 pounds or less with a gold cost of 2 gold or less. That seems to be the consistency. Let's see if anything breaks that rule that's not already on the list. So what could we potentially add, and why wouldn't we as we go through the process? Let's start with weight. If it weighs more than 7 pounds, 70 pounds is a barrel. So I'm just going to add that in. 72 GP, 72 barrel. And what else? 2, 10, 3, 5, 5, 5. 42 pounds is a burglar's pack. Can't create a pack. Burglar's pack. $42. 16. Burglar's pack. Skip down to 10. A chain. 10. A chain costs 5 gold. Chain. And a chest. We cannot create a chest. A chest weighs 25 pounds, weighs 5 gold. Chest. Climber's kit, cannot climber's kit. 12, 5. Climber's kit. Fine clothes. Fine clothes is clothes. Can't make any clothes. Component pouch. Can't make a component couch. I'm just gonna be thorough here and go with clothes and clothes. Clothes fine is 615. Clothes fine. And travelers is 4 and 2. Travelers, clothes, comma traveler. Clothes sounds complicated. It's 4 pounds. It's 4 pounds. 4 pounds 2 gold. So that technically, this is the first one that actually qualifies. So I'm going to push this one out even further. No, I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to push these further because these are all out of limits. Clothes is a complicated term. It could just be that like a single item. Maybe clothes doesn't qualify as a single item. Maybe that's the rub. Component pouch is 2 and 25. 2, 25. Component pouch. And that's breaking regulation. Component pouch. Costume is 4 and 5. 4, 5. Costume. Crowbar Diplomats pack. Diplomat pack is pack. The pack. I'm just going to skip through packs. Just packs. Flask. We already have flask. Grappling hook. 4 pounds and 2 gold pieces. Grappling hook is not included. But it is another viable contender. Grappling hook at 4 pounds, 2 gold pieces, grappling hook. Healer's kit. Packs and kits are not included. Let's see, where was that? Healer's kit. 3 pounds, 5 gold. Yeah, kits don't work. Holy symbol, varies. Nope. Holy water, 1 pound, 25 gold. Nope. Hunting trap, 25 pounds and 5 copper pieces. Cannot. Ink, is ink listed? Hij. Ink should work. I mean, if you can have oil, why can't you? Oh, because it's 10 gold pieces. X10 ink. That's why. Ink pen. X ink pen. I think this is going to work out. It's, yeah, ladder 25 pounds, too heavy. 2 pounds, 6 pounds. Manacles are 6 pounds, 2 gold pieces. You can do a bedroll, though. 6 pounds, 2 pieces. I'm fine with that. 6 pounds, 2 pieces. Manacles, it qualifies. Anything else that breaks rules? Fine. Clothes as traveler. Except clothes, kits, and packs. If you can make a lamp, you can make manacles. It doesn't weigh any more. It doesn't cost any more than anything else. A pull, that's fine. Half pound. It's a potion of healing. It's 50 gold pieces. Can't make one. Priest pack. Cannot. 35 pound, 4 gold. A portable ram. Too much to make. Too expensive to make. Rations. Except clothes, food, kits, and packs. Robe. Well, a robe is no more mechanically complicated than a bedroll, so I don't see any reason why I couldn't do that. So let's drop that and let you make simple clothes. I'm fine with that. It's basically with a rope. Simple rose is a robe with a belt. Scholar's pack, too expensive, too heavy. Shovel, we already have that on the list. Signal whistle. HI. A signal whistle. XX signal whistle. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to use that. Spells pouch, too expensive. Spell scroll, too expensive. Iron spikes, 5 pound, that would work. Spikes, comma, iron. Five, 1, spikes, comma, iron. Spyglass, way too expensive. Strain, A-OK. A tent is 20 pounds. And a tent is not on the list. It is beyond capacity. I think that's fair. Good. Tinderbox, 1 pound. We can make a tinderbox. Yes, we can. Torch, vial, and water skin. 5 pounds if full. Okay, so the rules here that we'll make an alteration to is adventuring gear. So let's steal the language. Now that we've figured it out, right? So we now know what the rule is. According to the table that they've used, the rule is you can create any piece of adventuring gear that weighs up to 7 pounds that has a listed cost of 2 gold pieces. And that would not include any kits or packs because they all weigh or cost too much. Food doesn't count. So let's see. Let's see how it's worded for us to see how we're going to word it. And so that is feature number 1. Magical tinkering. We did it. We got through the first thing. But this is deconstructing how the thing works. Boy, that's horrible formatting. You guys are being mean on purpose. Let's go back up to maybe copy text. Maybe edit or format text. Is that an option? No, I have to subscribe. Barf, barf, barf. Never mind. All right, we'll just have to gank it as a magic action. Well, hold on. Level 1. Magical tinkering. Nice. As a magic action, while holding Tinker's tools, you can create 1 item in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of yourself, comma, choosing the item from the adventurers from the choosing the item from the adventuring gear list in the PHB. You can choose an item from the adventuring gear list in the player's handbook. It must, from the adventurers and player's handbook, that weighs up to 7 pounds and costs up to 2 gold pieces. For example, you can create a pull, 7LB, 2CP. What was the actual weight of that pull? P-O, pull. 7 pounds, 5 copper pieces. You can create a pull. What's another good one? A lamp, which weighs 1 and 5 silver pieces. A lamp. One LB, 5 SP. Let's find one of the more exotic ones that they didn't include. Manacles. Manacles, which are 6 and 2, 6 LB, 2 GP. And other similar items. The DM has final word on what can. For example, you can create a pull or similar items. There we go. The DM may allow additional items not on the list. There, that's easy enough. And what's the rest of the text? Where'd the text go? It's over here. Thank you. And the rest of the feature says, see the rules for the item in the player's handbook. Copy. See the rules for the item in the player's handbook. I don't need that because you're gonna have to look it up anyway. The item vanishes. That's a really dumb sentence to need. The item vanishes after 1 hour. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Okay, so the item vanishes after 1 hour. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, and you regain all expended uses, all expended uses when you finish a long rest. And you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest, or you can regain all uses. No, let's just leave it be. Good enough. There. For example, period. All right, we got through the first feature. Oh, come on. Thank you. There. Magical tinkering. Spellcasting. I will have thorough things to say about spellcasting, I'm sure. We're kind of skipping past it right now. We'll go with level 1 spellcasting. Spell slots are replaced with mana as described above. Prepared spell slots, that's fine. Another Artificer creatures, instead of changing your spells, whenever you finish a long rest, you can change your list of prepared spells, replacing any of the spells there with any other Artificer spells that you know. And okay, great. So spells are replaced with mana as described above. Period. Replicate magic item. I think we're going to see level 2 replicate magic item. I know we're seeing a lot of revisions to this, so this is probably going to eat up the rest of our time. So me being done on Friday might be a little ambitious, but we'll shoot for the stars and see what we land. So replicate magic item. Let's see how we go. You have learned arcane plans that you use to make magic items. Plans known. When you gain this feature, you choose 4 plans to learn from the magic items plans from the magic item plans table, and see the message guide for the description. Bag of holding, cup of water breathing, sending stones, wand of the war mage are recommended. Whenever you gain an artificer level, you can replace one of the plans you know with a new plan for which you qualify. Whenever you gain an artificer level, okay, great. You learn another plan of your choice when you reach certain artificer levels as shown in the plans known column of the artificer feature table. Creating an item when you finish a long rest. You can create 1 or 2 different magic items if you have the tinker tools on hand. When each item is based on one of the plans you know for this feature. So you have to have plans to be able to build the items. You have to have tinker tools and the plans on hand to build items. If a created item requires attunement, you can attune yourself to it the instant you create it. If you decide to attune to the item later, you must do so using the normal process for attunement. When you reach certain artificer levels specified in the magic items column of the artificer features table, the number of magic items you can create at the end of the long rest increases. Each item you create must be based on a different plan you know. If you try to exceed your maximum number of magical items for this feature, the oldest item vanishes and then the new item appears. And then a magic item created by this feature functions exactly like the normal magic item, except its magic isn't permanent. When you die, the magic item vanishes after D4 days. If an item that you created with this feature is a container, such as a bag of holding, and it vanishes, its contents harmlessly appear in and around its space. Okay, great. So, right off the cuff, I love that they are implementing the idea of plans. This actually, for those of you that have been I wouldn't say paying attention, but if you're new to my channel, how would you? But if you want to check it out, we've been developing the, let's go find it real quick. Where'd you go? Did I accidentally close it? Reopen. There it is. Bastion campaigns. So if you've been tagging along on my channel, you know that we've been developing Bastion campaigns, and we had gotten through orders of looking at crafting, and your Bastion has the resources and skilled hirelings to craft items independent or to assist characters. Crafting requires 1 or more types of materials. There you go. And then empowering requires mana. Empowering requires attunement and harvest, plant, animals, and minerals, and then trade you can gather plant animals, and materials. So issuing orders, skipping through all the mechanics that go into making ability checks. We have the crafting ability, tools of war to make items based on DCs or the materials that you have. We have a stack. You can create tools as used in the PHB to craft things. You use empowerment to enchant magic items. Here is the scale that we currently have for the rarity of magic item, the rank that your guild needs to be, which equates to your half-caster level 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, the DC to be able to craft the item, and the level of spell that you're capable of producing. And we have some asterisks here, which means you can't include the spell Wish. This also includes as common magic items, spell focuses and spell books. And then there's an and symbol here, which means that potions and scrolls that duplicate spells. That's generally what this is referring to. A bastion can help craft. Okay, so here's the rules that we have in place now. The item to be enchanted must be provided or issued. The item to be enchanted must be provided or issue a separate order to craft the item simultaneously. Let's see. A bastion can help craft a higher rarity if a character is present. Okay, a character can issue an order for a bastion to create a magic item. The character must attune to the item while it's prepared, but does not need to remain present while it's created, unless the item is unless the item rarity exceeds the rank of the bastion. So bastion rank here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correlating rarities and the DC for each rarity. So if I wanted to make a legendary magic item, my character, and I only have a 3rd rank guild, I have to have my character on hand building that item the entire time to be able to produce it. But if it was only like an uncommon item, all I would have to do is have my character attunes to the process. So you're going to have a hard cap on how many items characters can attune to at a time. If they want to go out in adventuring, they're either going to have to lose attunement with a magic item so that they can like sponsor the production of the magic item, or they're going to stay home so they don't have to worry about adventuring. Take your pick. But this allows you to go adventuring and not be there by sacrificing your character's capabilities by having them be attuned. What does that mean? That means that the Artificer is automatically going to be better at crafting using this system than anyone else, because the Artificer can attune to a shitload of magic items at the same time. In addition, a character, in addition, there must be plans provided to create the item. If characters can research the plans for a specific item equal to item, the research, the DC and time to research are equal to the rarity listed above, or the characters can attempt to trade or adventure to attain the plans. If the research fails, there are no plans available, and the characters must adventure to attain them. This is mutt language right now, but it's what we're going with. A bastion can help if the If the check fails by 9 or less, it has a minor artifact. Oh, wait. If the check fails by 5 or more, it has a minor artifact detriment property. If the check fails by 10 or more, the item is cursed and has a major artifact property. Detrimental property. There we go. Brew healing potions is separate. So great. Okay, great. So that provides the scaffold. So the language that we got out of the, we'll be working more on the Bastion system on Thursday and on Saturday this week. But the most important thing we're pulling away from there is that we have introduced the idea of plans that can be used to create magic items. If you have the plans, you can make the magic item. A Artificer gains a truckload of plans. So let's go to our plans table here to make sure it's corresponding. It's 4 and then it's 5 at 6. And it's 6 at 10. It's 7 at 14. Ooh, they've really curved it. And 8 at 18. And total items they can have: 2 at 2nd, 3 at 6, 4 at 10, 5 at 14, 6 at 18. Cool. So an Artificer can attune to up to 6 magic items at basically 5th rank Bastion, and can have up to 8 magical plans, which you can swap plans whenever you gain a level, or of course you can research or adventure discover more plans. There we go. Pop my neck. Cool. I like that. Let's continue deconstructing. So we're getting a basic idea. That alone there to me is massive, because that locks down the language about having to know how to make the magic item and be able to have your Bastion build it for you. It locks down the attunement language conversation about Bastions performing tasks. And how long have I been at this? Like an hour, I think? Yeah, almost an hour. So I got a little bit more time. Let's see if we can crack the code on replicating magic items, the progression of it. So creating the item on a long rest, you can create 1 or 2 different magic items. If 1 or 2, because we only have 2 magic items at the beginning. When you reach certain magic artifact levels, specify the magic items list column, feature table. The number of magic items you can create at the long rest increases. Try to exceed duration. If an item that you created, let's see, wait a second, what does it say? If a created item requires attunement, you can attune yourself to it the instant you create it. If you decide to attune to the item later, you must do so using the normal process of attunement. When you reach certain Artificer levels, specify the magic item column of the Artificer list. The number of magic items you can create at the end of the long rest increases. Each item you create must be based on a different plan you know. So only 1 item each. Each item you create must be based on a different plan you know. Each item you create must be based on a different plan. Yeah, so I can only make 1 plan. I can only make 1 magic item, period, and I have to have a plan for it. So each item for a different plan. So that means 1 each only. If you try to exceed your your maximum number of magic items for this feature, the oldest item vanishes and a new item appears. Duration: a magic item created, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say that I can exceed my attunement limit using the system. So let's first verify that attunement is a thing that we need to worry about. Let's go to the rules glossary, and let's see if it has something to say about attunement for us. Alignment, armor, attacks, attunement. Attunement. Some magic items require a creature to form a bond called attunement with them before the creature can use an item's magical properties. A creature can have attunement with no more than 3 magic items at a time. So is that true for the Artificer? Let's look up how many times it says the word attune. Attune. Did I spell attunement wrong? Did I stutter? No, I don't need AI. I just need you to fucking search the document. Can you or can you not? Ask AI assistant. Find information. Get fucking A. It's just, I just look up the word attunement, stupid. Your AI piece of shit. Fuck off. All right. I hate AI. I really do. It's not smart. It doesn't fucking work. Hey, what's up, Nightmare? I tried, man. Attunement. See, it wants me to use AI. It won't search for anything. All right, because right now it says, oh, Nightmare, by the way, it completely clicked in my head last night what you were saying about temporary mana powering sustained powers. Because sustained powers don't have a deadline. They're perpetual until basically you lose consciousness. So the idea that a temporary mana would create an ongoing sustained effect is a flavor mismatch. Because the mana doesn't last longer than the round of action. So I think I understand what you were saying, that like it makes sense for strikes, maneuvers, and exploits during your turn because all those things happen inside the duration of your turn of combat and not beyond it, unless of course they fail the saving throw. Then it just dies off on its own. You're not powering it anymore. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I get you. I think that is a complete agreement here. Here's the catch, and I'm going to update the martial powers list. I'm going to completely implement that. You're 100% correct. I'm really glad you brought that up during playtesting. Here's what I think the interesting thing is. When you like the Ranger, the Eldritch Knight, and the Arcane Trickster, the 3 of them have the ability to use generated mana during their turn to cast spells. No one else can. So you can cast spells with them, and we allow them currently to use maintain concentration to be able to trigger spells using generated mana, but then they have to maintain their concentration on it, which can be interrupted anytime they take a hit. So during one round of combat, I could make you take 10, 20, 100 different concentration saves to see if you're able to retain the spell or not. So in that instance, I think it's okay to allow generated mana to sustain an effect because concentration is so fragile. In comparison, you're literally having to maintain concentration to keep that mana active. So I think that's a really interesting delineation there, that martials don't have to maintain concentration on stuff. So them being able to generate free mana for it, I agree, does not make sense. But some of the martial classes that can generate mana, because they're crossbred classes, do allow them, therefore, ludonarratively, to be able to use that temporary mana and have to use concentration to hold on to it. I considered having sustained powers become concentration effects if using temporary mana. That's a level of complexity that I'm not sure if I like. Because it's not binary anymore, it's not on or off, but then the spell casting breaks that binary already. But spell casting already broke that binary. So I'm having debates right now about whether or not we should be able to allow sustained effects to become concentration effects if you're using temporary mana. See, that's a level of complexity. It's like, that's really iffy. So I don't think I want to go that route. But yeah. It's a heavy maybe because it makes the whole thing. The powers were balanced around, like the sustained powers were balanced around the idea that you don't have to maintain concentration on them. So it makes more sense to me to just nick them from being able to use temporary mana at all. But I love the idea of these hybrid classes being able to use concentration for those effects. Otherwise, it would just be instantaneous spells, and honestly, the Ranger doesn't have a lot of them. So I think that's a good space to play in, and I intentionally cut the Paladin off from having that hybrid option because they have lay on hands and they have better smite options. So what this does is it makes the Ranger really unique from anybody else because it has a spell list that it can pop temporary mana to trigger and maintain. So that becomes like the niche for the Ranger. And I think that's a really good design space. So I'm really, really glad that you brought it up. An even weirder route you could go with concentration saves, but you use your channeling saving throw instead of defaulting to Constitution. Well, when we do saving throws with the mana system that we have where you can stack concentration on multiple spells, anytime you make a saving throw, you measure it against your concentration. And the concentration DC is 10 plus the number of mana that you're holding for spells. So like a haste spell is a 3rd level spell, so the DC would be 13. If I make a saving throw against a fireball, like a dexterity saving throw, and the DC is only 12, if I hit 12, I succeed the saving throw against the fireball, but I failed the concentration check. So even though I only take half damage from the fireball, I dump all my mana because I couldn't, because the saving throw wasn't high enough. So that makes concentration incredibly fragile. So if you're going to go into battle with a shitload of magic pumped up on you and like you've got all your magic maxed out, chances are you're going to lose it at some point during the adventure, either during the battle or shortly afterwards, because it's really difficult to be able to hit high DCs on ongoing spell checks, where it can hit any 6 of the stats that you're carrying, not just concentration. So it's really nasty, which is why it's so limited. But anyway, so we'll talk about that more when we get back around to doing martial power stuff. But I just wanted to since you showed up, I wanted to shout out that I really appreciate you having that insight, and I think that I think we just made a better product as a result of it. So really, thank you. I really appreciate it. More iterations and testing to come, right? So we'll see how things play out. So right now we're looking at the replicate magic items. Major tangent, but you're here. I thought it was worth pointing out to you. So just want to give you credit where credit was due. Yeah. Right on, man. You're just proud to have you at the table. Thank you. To anyone else that's out there that's getting into game design, dude, you gotta fucking play test your shit. You gotta play test it, because if you're coming up with new ideas, you have to see how that stuff works. You have to see how it hits people, and you have to make design decisions around what that process is. If you love something and it's just not working, you have to deconstruct it and rebuild it so it can actually mechanically work, so it's not broken, or that it simplify it so it makes sense, so people can grok it easier. It's important. So yeah. No, I'm on point with it tonight. You're good. So we're looking at the replicating magic items. Here's what we have. If we scroll down here to new infusions, we're looking at the infusion process down here, and we have empowered equipment. So we have a basic scaffold for, like, if we're using powers, like the maximum amount of mana that you can have on an item. Spell traps. New kit, spell trap, Springer, mana crystal, infusion. You can encode an item with 1 power from the list of powers above, which is like 150 of them, or an Artificer's spell. This is the level 2 infuse item as opposed to create magic item. So we're gonna have to change up all that language. So I want to keep spell trap because that's fucking awesome, and we're gonna keep mana crystal. But we can only create 1 magic item per plan, so we can't just create a fistful of mana crystals and have a fuck ton of mana available for us to throw around anymore. Instead, we're going to have to reconstruct the spell storing item. We're gonna have to get access to that earlier, and we're gonna have to deconstruct it so it becomes a mana pool, basically just a mana pool, as opposed to a specific spell that you can cast 10 times. It'll just be a mana supply that you can use on any spell. So it'll be an easy reconstruction, but that is the initial brush with that I saw. But I think that's important. So, but we'll get to deconstructing it when we get to it. So let's see. And we only have I only have 20 minutes, maybe 20 some odd minutes left. So Spell Trap, yeah, Spell Trap is really fucking cool. I love that. Replicating magic items. So let's stay on point with where we're at. Plans equal need 'em, can be used to issue empower orders to a bastion as well, which we went over earlier. Plans was the missing piece to bastions. Plans is what controls access to crafting magic items with your bastion. That and attunement. That's perfect. And that's right. We were trying to see if there was language somewhere inside here about attuning to additional magic items, and it did not list it. So let's traipse through here and see if they have any mention of more attunements at higher levels. It could just be that they missed it because it's a playtest document, or they could be specifically locking down you only have 3 attunements even as an artificer, which means, so if that's the case, yeah, because it lists here attunement yes or no, and most of the stuff that they let you build here is no to the attunement, and I think that's varies. That's what a great way to cheese out there, guys. Varies. I shouldn't shit too hard. Artificer subclasses. Abilities, magic item tinker. Maybe it's in here. Drain magic item, expanded replication. When you learn a plan for your replicate magic item, you can now also choose from the magic item plans, level 6 table. Flash of Genius, reaction roll. I'm just scanning for the word attunement somewhere because they aren't providing it to us yet. Additional attune. Oh, there we go. You can attune up to 4 magic items at once rather than 3. Cool. So, but God, that's at 10. So 4 at 10, and let's see if it ramps further, like at Soul of Artifice or something at 20th. Magic item Savant. I bet this will be our 5th. Additional attunement is 5. Expanded replication, you learn more of them. Magic item master. 6 items. So they're just calling it out as a separate feature instead of just dogpiling too much into the second level feature. I respect that. And then Soul of Artifice is magical guidance. Okay, that doesn't do anything. Okay, great. So they will eventually get 6 attunements at 14th level, 18th, 18th level. There we go. So that tracks. Let's verify. Yeah, I don't have it listed down here, but it should correspond with magic items up here. 2, 3, and then Adept. That was the first instance. We saw the upgrade. And then Savant, we see the upgrade again here. 4, 6, and 4, 7, and 5, 18, 8, and 6. And then so the number of magic items that we have, the ability to create, also lines up with the amount of items that we can attune. So they just broke it down as a per level perk as opposed to just grouping it. And I'm all for that. That's fine. That also means that there's not a lot going on in the class beyond Flash of Genius. It's just basically reiterating and upgrading that second level feature, which I'm also okay with. It's basically heavy level infusions. So Magic Tinker, Drain Magic. Okay, let's look at subclass feature stays in place, ASI stays in place, right tool for the job. Replicate magic item. Let's continue digging through that. I feel like this is complicated, And I don't know why I feel that way. I don't understand the caveats yet. So let's just get a grip on the caveats. We understand how plans work. We know you got to have tools to be able to build it, and you do it automatically, and you gain attunement when you do it, and it appears next to you. Duration, we know that it lasts for D4 days after you're dead, if that's the case. Otherwise, magic items create exactly, it sticks around until you blip it. So if you try to exceed your maximum limit, yeah, these don't just automatically, wait. Create an item when you finish a long rest. You can create 1 or 2 different magic items if you have Tinker's tools in hand. Each item is based on one. Yeah, so basically your items stay permanently until you decide to swap them, which you can do whenever you take a long rest. If an item that you create is featured, blah. Okay, so let's see. Artificer level. Common magic item that isn't a potion, a scroll, or cursed. Common magic item at 2. So let's start building a scaffold. Level what? Level 2, 6, 10, 14, 18. That's our scaffold, which we already knew. Common magic items, not consumable. Not potions or scrolls. Let's look at. Oh my God, what a burden. I guess we're going to pick through these real quick. So, quote unquote, real quick. Let's see what I got. 2024 alchemy. Alchemy job is uncommon. Are we going to see any common, any permanent common item that can be attuned and uncommon items that do not require attunement at level 2? And then at 6, are we going to see common items, whether they can be attuned to, or uncommon items, whether they can be attuned to or not, and rare items that do not require attunement. And then at level 9, I know I think they're only going up to rare, so common, uncommon, rare. So that would probably mean 2, 9, I want to say 2, 9, and 18, but 18 seems like a really late point to be acquiring common magic items, uncommon magic items at 6. Some types of uncommon items. And at 14, rare of some items. I'm detecting a consistency issue here, and that rankles me a lot. I hate when there's a lack of patterned like well scaffolded patterns. I hate doing things like weird because of reasons when they don't provide the reasons for why they do weird. So let's, Jesus. Okay, so what? Common magic items, not potions and scrolls. And then at 6, it becomes uncommon armor, wands, weapons that aren't cursed. Well, I guess we should build their scaffold before I fix it. Uncommon magic items, uncommon magic, armor, wand, and weapons. Armor, wand, weapon. 10. Uncommon ring, wondrous. That isn't, I hate that they have to toss in that it isn't cursed. That's so obnoxious. Must select a different item. You can learn this option multiple times and must select a different item each time. Each item selected counts as a different plan. So this is learning plans. And And then at 14, we get rare armor, ring, wand, weapon, wondrous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are there only 5 categories? Oh, what? Oh, there's staffs and rods as well, right? I guess we need to look at the list, and then that caps it out. Wait a second. Let's just make sure there's no stragglers at the upper end. Okay, magic items and cause the items to vanish. Flash of Genius. You can attune to up to 4 magic items. When you learn a plan for your replicate magic item feature, you can also now choose from the larger list that we have. Spell storing item, magic item savant, expanded options, magic item master. Now attaining up to 6 items instead of 5, but get no additional perks thereafter. Epic boon. Boon of energy resistance. And then Soul of Artifice. Is there anything it says about that magical guidance? You decide to add a die. You have attunement. While you have attunement to at least 1 magic item, you can add D6 to any ability check you make. You decide to add the die after the 20, and you can use this benefit only once per turn. If you aren't reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can disintegrate 1 uncommon or rare magic item created by your replicate magic item feature, changing your hit points to 20 instead of 0. Okay. So let's verify the list of magic items. So let's see if that is something that can be easily digested. That's going to be in the Dungeon Master's Guide 2024. And then we go to magic items, magic item categories. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We get 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's go. Ugh. I hate having to do it, but I feel like I have to do it. Crafting, well, hey, let's go check out crafting items real quick. Arcane proficiency. Tools, the magic items and tools required. You must use required tools. Any assistance to proficiency, information tools, player's handbook. Magic item tools, tools, spells. Gotta have them. If a magic item allows the user to cast a spell, you gotta have it. Time and cost. Crafting a magic item takes an amount of time and money based on the item's rarity. Work per day, assistance, raw materials. The cost of the table represents the raw materials that you need to be able to craft the thing. Blah blah blah. Doesn't count towards magical stuff like temporary junk. There's a 75% chance that the materials are available, and in any settlement, there's a 25% chance the material isn't. Magic item incorporates an item as part of the purchase cost, otherwise you make it along with it. Magic item special features. You can add distinctive to a magic item by thinking about its backstory, which is just flavor text. Blah 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 blah. Magic item history. Blah 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 blah. Artifacts. Okay, well, this doesn't mention needing a plan anywhere. So basically, the Artificer allows you to generate plans. While we've established the Bastion system, you need a magical plan to be able to build a magic item, which can be researched, discovered, adventured, bartered, traded, contact other plane, etc. So we have that. I feel like I want to go through. Sorry, small text. Magic items, special features. So quirks and shit. Artifacts, sentient magic items. There's a list of magic items somewhere around here, right? So I guess we should just go through alphabetically to find out. This is oh boy, this is going to take a little while, but it's got to get done. We got to do it so we can really understand the pattern. Treasure, which should include magic items. There needs to be a list of magic items, A to Z. So we're just going to go through the magic items, A to Z, and see if we notice a pattern of activity that we can lock in as a general rule. And so we'll probably go through this list, and that'll probably finish our session for today, and we'll have to come back on this. But we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll keep working on it. So for the time being, let's dive into this list to see if we can recognize the patterns. Luckily, they're alphabetical. So Alchemy Jug is an uncommon item, Bag of Holding. Get down to it. Bag of Holding. Oh, look, there's an alphabetical list over here. That could potentially speed things up for us. Bag of, God, what a pain in the ass. Bag of Holding. Give it to me. Show me your bag. Uncommon magic item. Cap of Water Breathing. Should be faster than it is. Maybe I just need to scroll hard. Cap of Water Breathing is uncommon. I'm already starting to see the pattern. Goggles of the Night. G. I want G. Giant Slayer, gloves, Goggles of the Night. Uncommon. These things list up front, yeah, requires attunement. So goggles do not require attunement, it's uncommon. I'm seeing the pattern. Rope of Climbing. But we have to verify it's consistent to make a rule. Rope of Climbing. Through all the rings, please. Rope, rope. Give me a rope, 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 rope. Rope of Mending. That's a common magic item. No, wait. Rope of Climbing. Uncommon. Does not require attunement. Sending Stones. Uncommon, does not require attunement, I reckon. Uncommon magic item. Shield +1. Wand of magic. Ooh, interesting. Wand of magic detection. Uncommon. Wand of Secrets. Fine, wizard, keep your secrets. Uncommon. Wand of the War Mage. Requires attunement. Huh. While holding this wand, you gain a bonus to spell attack rolls determined by the wand's rarity. In addition, you ignore half cover when making a spell attack. That is an uncommon item that does require... That is an exception to the rule. Uncommon, rare, or very rare. Requires attunement, but it's just a combat item. I can see. The wand is basically like a weapon +1. So I don't... I don't like that it requires attunement, but there it is. Okay, so otherwise, we have basically, it's any common item that you want that's not a scroll or cursed. And here's a stack of uncommon items that you can not have, just as we predicted. Uncommon magic items. And then we'll add a separate category down here. Uncommon magic that doesn't require attunement. What a pain in the ass. So does that mean that the uncommon items is going to be a bunch of rare stuff that doesn't require attunement? Let's find out together. Right now. Boots. Boots. Boots of the elven kind. Boots, boots, boots. And boots of the elven kind. Boots. Boots at the boot of the elven kind. Boop, 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 boots. Uncommon? No, it's... Oh, wow, that's uncommon. Huh, maybe that's an outlier. Let's look at Cloak of the Elven Kind. Cloak of the Elven Kind. Uncommon does require attunement. Uncommon rings and... Uncommon armor, wands, or weapons that aren't cursed. That aren't cursed. Well, we gotta check them all. So right now, all we're seeing are uncommon items. That's weird. Cloak of the Manta Ray. Uncommon. Eye of Charming. Let's get down to it. I mean, we may as well go F, but whatever. EYE. Aren't Eye and Hand of Vacuum artifact? Oh yeah, I guess they're just listed. Okay, great. Eye of Charming. Uncommon, does require attunement. Gloves. I guess we're just checking to see if there's anything here that's going to hit rare quality, rarity. But so far the answer is no. Gloves of Thievery. Gloves of Uncommon. Lantern of Revealing. Uncommon. Weird. Pipes of Haunting. Thank you. Pipes of Healing. Pipes of what? Haunting. Thank you. Uncommon. Huh. Bunch of uncommon Wanderess. That kind of makes these two a bit redundant, doesn't it? I mean, these are all like a select list of Wanderous stuff, but I'm not seeing any specific criteria that lists why you would gain those uncommon Wanderous items at 6, but then gain the rest of the uncommon items. I am not a fan of that. There is an inconsistency here. Like, this is consistent. There are uncommon items that don't require attunement. This is a grab bag of uncommon stuff that you can already have, plus some uncommon or maybe that require maybe attunement or don't require attunement. And then we have just wondrous items from the uncommon, including the rings, of course. That's cool. There was some wands that were tossed in here, so I respect that, even though they're a separate category. They're basically being treated as wondrous items in the shape of a wand because they aren't duplicating an actual spell effect. So let's see what's going on with 10. We're getting... Yeah, and then 14th level, it's just like whatever. So, okay, great. So we're actually almost done. Oh, wow, wait. 10, it's build whatever. Okay. Rare armor, rings, wands, weapons, wondrous items at 14. I mean, there are consumable items that are not potions and scrolls, like beads of fireball, for instance. Wait a second. Is it pearls or is it beads? Let's find out. Let's try pearls. Let's try beads first. Beads of force are rare. Typically, a few beads. Take the magic item to toss one. Explodes 10-foot radius sphere. 5d4 force damage per bead. You can take the magic item to throw the bead. Each creature in the sphere will create 10-foot radius sphere on impact and is destroyed. Each creature in the sphere must succeed a saving throw. Any creature that fails to save completely in the area is trapped inside the sphere. Creatures that succeed on the save or are partially within the area are pushed away from the center of the sphere until they are no longer inside of it. Only breathable air can pass through the sphere's wall. No attack or other effect can pass through. Enclosed creature can take the utilized action to push against the sphere's walls, moving the sphere up to half the creature's speed. The sphere can be picked up, and its magic causes it to weigh only 1 pound, regardless of the weight of creatures inside. Typically, beads of force are found together. You can take the magic item, action to throw a bead up to 60 feet. The bead explodes in a 10-foot radius sphere on impact and is destroyed. Each creature in the sphere must succeed a DC 15 saving throw or take force damage. A sphere of transparent energy that encloses the area for 1 minute. Thank you. Any creature that failed to save. So this is a wondrous item rare, which means I would be able to, thank you, Timely Timer, telling me it's time to go. Magic item, rare, armor, wands, weapon, wondrous item. So at 14th level, we would be able to get beads of force, for instance. The way that we currently have it scaffolded do we have I don't have a specific scaffold set up for rarity levels. I have a scaffold for magic item rarity with the powers that we have in the Martial Power book, but I don't specifically have a rarity a gain rarity stack for the Artificer, but I don't like how clumsy it is. So X. So this is basically I'm not missing the irony that the Martial Powers book has ranks up to 4th level that you get by 13th, yet you can cast, you can channel up to 5 mana at a time, but it's common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary is the 5 degrees that you have of magic items. The Artificer is only getting 3 degrees of it, and they're trying to stretch it across 4 different tiers. They have inconsistency in doing so. I respect halting progress at 14. I'm actually pretty good with that. Uncommon magic items. You don't get full access to uncommon magic items until 10th. Yeah. Reims, Wandress. I really feel like this wand is that's going to be spells. It's eventually going to be replicating spells. So uncommon Wandress, rare. I don't think it's inappropriate for rare magic items to come online in general at 14th level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm pretty good with that idea. It's the clumsiness of the common, uncommon, rare, and then nothing. Like that scaffolding feels broken. But I've reached my time cap, so I got to bounce for the day, go back to work. But I'm going to be back tomorrow morning to do more artwork, and then at lunchtime we're going to come back. I'm going to let this replicate magic item system just ruminate for a little while, because that 4-5-3, that 3-4-5 stack is giving me an issue. 3 levels of rarity across 4 different levels out of 5. It's just it's scraping against me wrong. So I'm going to let that. I think I'll probably have an answer populate for me during my long rest tonight, and when I awaken, my flash of genius will probably allow me to ascertain a solution. So we'll see, and then we'll continue with this. I mean, the scaffolding's almost done. We'll finish the scaffolding tomorrow, assuming we have a magic item solution for us to be able to work with. Fantastic. And yeah, from there we'll continue. We'll then build out the subclasses and see if we need to make any modifications, and look at there are no. It doesn't look like there's any infusions anymore. It's just replicating magic items. So we have to make magic items out of the stuff that we have to make this work properly. And I'm okay with that. And then we'll be able to fold it into the martial power system in general. I think this is going to end up working out. So we're going to let it sit here for now. It's incomplete. But I think it was Van Gogh that says you want to stop when you want to go, so that when it's time to walk away, you're excited to walk back again. So all y'all, thanks for taking this journey with me. I'll be back tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Like, subscribe, blah-de-blah. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks a lot.